Hey, dear Tyler, good morning. And how are you doing? I hope we're good. Hope we're fine. Happy New Week. And how has February been? So, I had to, just apologize for not being able to post an episode on Thursday as I should have, right? It's been a very strenuous week for me, like very, very, very strenuous, and I just needed that time to rest. Like I couldn't really get the opportunity to record and all, and I'm back, for another long week. You get, so this is like early hours of Monday morning that I'm recording this, and I have to be up very soon. But I just told myself that I need to do this. Let me not give too many days off, right? So I think this is one of the episodes that maybe I would really, really get straight to the point because I'm exhausted. I am so exhausted. But I do hope that we enjoyed the last episode on algorithms and how you can apply it, to program your days, program your life, program certain things around you, to put some form of a shield or a covering for you, right? That it's very, very important that we are the ones in the driver's seat, making the decisions for our lives, all of that, right? So I do hope that I was able to communicate in the best way possible. So today's topic is about peer pressure. And don't worry, we'll definitely talk about love and all of these relationship things eventually. We will. But for now, let's calm down. So today's topic is peer pressure. And we're going to be talking about peer pressure in a different light. It's in a different, perspective. So generally when people think about peer pressure, you think about being in a circle that compels you to do something that you don't want to do. So the concept and the idea around peer pressure is that it's mainly negative, right? So I remember way back in primary school or secondary school, when we used to have some of these civil courses, I think it was social studies, and talking about what brings about crime and immorality to a society. And one of the options there was always peer pressure, peer pressure. And it's more of like, I see a certain set of people, do something, and, taking into consideration the fact, the peer part, right? It means that these are people within your class when it comes to like maybe age or opportunities or just people within a certain group, right, that you can relate with. Now, many times we are compelled to do things because we find ourselves within a certain group, right? And we learn, different, we have different thoughts, we learn different habits from certain peers, right? So I'll give an instance. Me and my family, we kind of so my dad retired diplomat and everything, so we spent a lot of our formative years in the Netherlands. So when we came to Nigeria, right, our diction was absolutely foreign. So the way we said certain things, the way we, approach things, it was totally different, right? It's totally different. So I remember when we went to the primary school that we eventually found, one school called Kiddy Joy. So we went to that school, and I would never forget entering into the school. It was like, I think so it's like a 2-story building, right? But then there was like a ground floor, like a basement floor for like lower class levels and everything. Anyway, so I remember when we got to the school there, I'd never forget, I saw one boy jumping from one height in the place. And it was just very, very chaotic, right? Coming in from the Netherlands and everything, how everybody used to do things with decorum to a certain extent. So I won't come and make it look like it was in the Victorian era where everybody was posh and all. No, but there was a level of extremism in the way the children were reacting in this school that really, really put us off. I remember going back home and me and my brothers, we were just like pacing through like, oh my God, what did we just see? Why are people jumping from windows, people jumping from balconies onto the ground? And, I think the most amusing part or the most worrying part for us was the fact that they were laughing. So somebody would jump from a high place, they would laugh and people would shout, scream. Then they would now go back and do the whole, the same thing. And I remember it just felt very off. Give us 1 year. We became part of the people doing the jumping too. Jumping from all levels of ungodly walls. We were jumping, doing certain things, having, coming back very unkept. Our addiction now started to adjust to how pronunciations are made, how words are pronounced, or how words were pronounced at that time. And we didn't know that over time, we just felt like our being different, right? We felt like our being different was a disadvantage for us. So we needed to conform to what was the stereotype or conform to what was very common within our environment so that we don't feel left out. I remember many times I had this cousin of mine that would come over to my class and would be like, oh, that they're talking about you. You guys, they're always saying you're the slangs boy, Don't worry, I'm a millennial, a serious millennial. So for some of us, we may not understand some of the lingo that I'm using, but like saying that, oh, Benga, you're a slangs boy, something. And, at first it was funny, but then I really just felt like, being left out. I felt like I was left out. And then all of a sudden I started trying to, talk broken English, try to learn 1 or 2 vernacular words and all. And somehow as I conformed to that image or conformed to that way of life, I started getting more friends and I started doing things. I stopped being lonely and all. So that's just an example, right? That's an example. You'll find people saying that they didn't do some particular things, they didn't indulge in some particular habits until they met 1 or 2 other people, right? And it was until they found themselves within a particular environment that they started acting in a particular way. For many people, the information or the lives that they're living now came from information that they received from other peers, not maybe family, not even school. Just the exposure to the prevailing system within their peers, right? And just because they don't want to feel left out, they usually indulge in all of these things and then they usually become habits. So it's always been projected that peer pressure is a negative thing. It's a negative thing. But while I was thinking about this episode, I realized that there's always 2 sides to a coin, right? There's always 2 sides to a coin. And if people have the ability, or if you're able to change within an environment of people that compel you to a new way of life, right? It means that you can also create certain habits by deciding to be within a particular circle. So the Bible puts it this way: he that stays with the wise will be wise also. He that stays with the wise will be wise also. There's this meme. So I love memes. I love, all of these memes and a lot of jokes around on the internet. And one of them that really caught my attention once was, better read, better read, better study, so that when your peers are having intelligent conversations, your contribution should not only be like just in bewilderment without actually having anything to contribute, right? Now, it means that I can actually put myself within a circle of intelligent people, and their drive for knowledge, their drive for intelligence, right, would also have an effect on me. Think about it. There are a lot of people that are not interested in football, but all of a sudden, they find themselves within a clique of people that talk about football a lot. And at the end of the day, they begin to have an understanding of football. They begin to analyze football, and you do all of that, right? Or you could find someone that has absolutely zero idea about, let's say, makeup or something like that. And then all of a sudden, they're within a community of people that talk about makeup a lot. And then later on, they're beginning to know one or two products and all of that. So, and that's exactly how peer pressure too can work. Now, I feel that it's very important that we learn to apply some certain things in a very positive way. If the Bible says that he that stays with the wise will be wise also, it means that positioning yourself within a certain environment gives you a higher tendency to experience the realities of the individuals in that environment. So if I want to grow in my finances, the best thing I can do is to stay within a certain area or be with a community of people who either have a drive for financial freedom or are already living within that reality, right? And me being in that space, right? It's a good pressure. Me being in that space somehow compels me to try to keep up with what I'm seeing. And usually when people allow you into their space, now this is the power of access. When people allow you into their space, what they are doing is they're not just saying that, oh, okay, we believe in you, but they're also saying that come and enjoy the resources that we also enjoy, right? Pardon me for giving this particular example, right? But if you notice, people who smoke don't have a problem sharing a cigarette. They don't have a problem sharing a cigarette. People who drink don't have a problem sharing a drink. You may ask them for money, for many things they may not, but when it's time for them to share these things, they can share and even try and get for you and say, oh, come, take, do you want more, and all of that. So when you do have access, when people grant you access, right, there's usually something within their heart that wants you to stay within that bond, right? They want you to stay within that bond. So it's also the same thing with any other expression. For instance, let's still use finances. When you stay with people who have a drive for financial freedom or are already living in the reality of financial freedom, what they do is that they begin to probe your mind, begin to ask questions. Okay, Tyler, what are you doing? What do you do? Oh, okay, I noticed that you do this. Have you ever thought about monetizing it? Oh, I know somebody that can help. Or I know somebody you can reach out to. I know somebody who you can, communicate with, all of these other things like that. And then they begin to pour out their resources to you, because a real community never seeks to grow alone. Right? And they know that the strength of their community is in the strength of every individual. Their weakness comes from the weakest link. So they don't want any weak links within their environment, right? So they do their best to empower everyone within that sphere so that they can grow, all together. They can grow all together. You may not be musically inclined, but if you spend enough time with musically inclined people, you may learn one or two things. You will definitely learn one or two things. One or two things will rub off on you, right? It's almost like watching a particular individual over time. You spend so much time with that person, everything around you or everything that pertains to your life revolves around this particular individual. All of a sudden, you find out that you begin to talk like that person, you begin to walk like that person, you begin to reason like that person. I'll give you an instance. Years ago, when Prison Break came out, I did a very, 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 very terrible thing. I sat down and I watched the whole of season 1 in like 24 hours. Probably, let's say, between 26 to 27 hours, an occasional nap here and there. But I literally watched it like back to back, non-stop. I didn't stop for anything. And the protagonist of the whole series is Michael Scofield, right? And I found out that over time I started, acting like him, doing the eye signals like him, even beginning to reason like him. I just started becoming suspicious of everybody, right? How I'll be hiding. I just became very, very anyhow, right? And I would just begin to act in a particular way, right? Everybody in AB then was a suspect, right? I'll try to hide. I want to see, okay, can I sneak up on somebody? I'm seeing puzzles in things that were not even complicated and all of that. But it was because I'd spent so much time with that particular individual in that series that whatever attitude, whatever attributes that individual was projecting, I started projecting it that same way. Now, over the past few weeks, I've been very deliberate about learning when it comes to things about marriage, And I was talking to one of my friends, and I said that one of the biggest challenges that we have is that there are so many good examples of godly marriages, but there is so little publicity about it. The news that gets circulated is about divorce, or it's about marital issues, it's about the struggles, right? And when you begin to feed yourself with that much information, right, you begin to live out that system. So if you're within a place, within an environment where, and I say this with all due respect, if you're within an environment where they're always having one or two tensions when it comes to relationships, right, you will tend to always be negative in your approach. Now, there's this page on YouTube, I think Nasiru Saidu. He's been compiling marriages that work. Once in a while, he may talk about one or two things that didn't really work out, but he had spent so much time finding people that have married for 2 years, 10 years, 15 years, 40 years, 50, right? And in fact, one of my old school teachers, was there, Mr. and Mrs. Akpopo. They've been married for a long time. I met them old, and they're still old, and they're still, thriving. God is keeping them. And all of a sudden, as I spent so much time listening to these people, there was so much hope and expectation inside of me. I started trying to adjust myself to become a better man, to become a better husband, to become a better father, and all of that. I started seeing people that motivated me into something else, right? And that's also, in quote, some form of peer pressure. And you have to be deliberate about the environments that you are in. You can program certain things to happen in your life by being deliberate about the circles that you place yourself in, right? If you place yourself in a circle of people that are raw, that are rugged, that are, just breezing through life with no direction, right? You would tend to find yourself flowing in that same system, right? The Bible says that iron sharpeneth iron, right? Iron sharpeneth iron. The only way for you to be sharpened in a particular light or in a particular way is to find people that represent what you look for or what you're looking for. Find people that represent what you're looking for and stay with them. If you stay within a congregation of people that pray, over time, you would be motivated to pray more. And, we just trust God to help our hearts, that the motive behind the things that we do would always be pure, not to make an impression to people or not to make people feel like you're not left behind, or that you're left behind and all of that. No, but that truly you'll have, or we would have, a deep desire to actually grow to that level, because it's also beneficial for us. But I will not deny and say that the pressure of seeing people move ahead doesn't also have a way of pushing us to also move ahead. So that's one thing that being in a circle does, right? If you come to a circle where people can always afford what they need, or be able to, do some certain things, meet some certain people, you'll begin to adjust yourself in that light, so that you're not the black sheep within that community. Do you understand? Right? But perspective matters. Peer pressure is bad, but it can also be good. You can put yourself in a position where you can create the destiny that you want. Right? Now I know that this this particular episode had its back and forth, not necessarily so coordinated, but this is my commitment that I was going to show up, right? I was going to show up. I don't know if I'm going to just make it one episode this week so that I can go, from here onward. If I'm going to do 2, let's see how it goes. But I know that at least for this week that I've showed up, right? Or I've shown up, right? And I really want to thank you for your patience, right? But I do pray and I do hope that this episode really, really blessed you, right? I really do hope that it blessed you. And if it did, please do well to share with other people. Let people know about Dear Tyler, right? And I'm sure in a lot of ways it's going to help them, right? Please do well to share what we share on this platform with other people, right? So yeah, Tyler, this is me signing out. Remember, I love you, I believe in you, and I'm always, always rooting for you. Bye.